Being a stepmother is hard. It was a Sunday. Guo Qiaoqiao didn't go to school. Before lunch, Yuxiu decided to do Guo Qiaoqiao's hair. This was Yuxiu's specialty. Yuxiu can be said to be self-taught, imaginative, and creative in this area. Yuxiu first washed Guo Qiaoqiao's hair and got a basin of oil. Yuxiu looked at the basin and was nauseated. Before her hair was washed, Yuxiu already despised this small dull V in her heart, and can't wait to press down Guo Qiaoqiao's head, drowning her with the oily pig's head soup. But this girl was related to the fate of Yuxiu, so Yuxiu had light hands and feet, and every finger was failure to death. After washing and drying, Yuxiu began to do Guo Qiaoqiao's hair and redesign her braid. Guo Qiaoqiao originally had a single braid, which was fat and alien appearance and had an overbearing, brutal look. Yuxiu trimmed off some of Guo Qiaoqiao's hair, separated it, and braided 2 pigtails on either side of her head, then coiled them down and stuck them in place. The tails of the 2 pigtails were symmetrically raised above the ears, jumping, naughty, and mischievous, very much like the trailer's young daughter in the movie. Guo Qiaoqiao had a very notable male appearance, and if it weren't for those braids, she would have looked almost like a man. Now, after Yuxiu's cleaning up, she's a little girly. Guo Qiaoqiao was very satisfied. Yuxiu stood next to her, made an extremely envious look, and exaggerated. Qiaoqiao, it would be nice if I had hair like yours. It was very sentimental. Once a favor covering is to the extent of being sentimental, it must be deeply felt. Guo Qiaoqiao was really happy and couldn't close her mouth. Her cheeks smiling wider than her forehead, like a muscle. Her whole head was just a mouth. Yuxiu saw it in her eyes, and knowing that the time had come, she let out a sigh and said, Qiaoqiao, it would be nice if I could be a maid for you. I don't have that fortune. Guo Qiaoqiao is facing the mirror, upper body side by side, beautiful. Guo Qiaoqiao said offhandedly, This is no problem. At lunchtime, Yuxiu and Guo Qiaoqiao were talking and laughing. Guo Jiaxing also felt strange. His daughter's character was so strange, so square, and was twisted with Yumi, but instead getting along with Yuxiu. Speaking of Qiaoqiao, this girl is also poor, only this age. Her mother died. No wonder she wants to be against Yumi. Guo Jiaxing rarely saw his daughter have this kind of interest so happily, and had half a bowl of rice more. Yuxiu handed the bowl of rice to Guo Jiaxing's face, knowing that the most crucial moment had finally come. She hurriedly said, Brother-in-law, I made a deal with Qiaoqiao. I'll be her maid. Now going back, you have to take care of my 3 meals. The words were said in a rather playful and petulant way, but in fact, Yuxiu herself knew it and was very nervous. Yuxiu waited there. Guo Jiaxing picked up the bowl, stared at Guo Qiaoqiao's head for a couple of moments, and had 7 or 8 points in his heart. Guo Jiaxing took a bite of rice and said vaguely, Serve the people. Yuxiu heard it out. Her heart clenched and her hands shook, yet she was still relieved. Yumi listened and always thought that Yuxiu was joking and did not take it to heart. Instead, Yuxiu turned her face to talk to Yumi. Yuxiu said, Sister, then I'll stay. She can't believe it's true. This little slut is really a piece of dog skin plaster, but sticking up like this. Yumi didn't know what to say for a moment. At this time, Guo Qiaoqiao happened to put down her bowl and left the table. Yuxiu looked at Guo Qiaoqiao's back, stretched out her arm, a hand to hold Yumi's wrist. Hand especially hard, whispered, I knew my sister could not let go of me. This sentence has a deep meaning between the 2 sisters. At heart, it was pleading. Yumi understood it. but Yumi just couldn't stand to see Yuxiu selling herself short like that. However, the more Yuxiu said this, the worse it became for Yumi to say anything else. Yumi closed her mouth, glanced at Yuxiu, chewed very slowly for 2 or 3 times, and said in her heart, "A little bitch can stay in one village, but is more slippery than me in this family." Yuxiu lowered her head. No one knew how fast Yuxiu's heart was beating at this moment. Yuxiu panicked and stuffed the food into her mouth. Her heart jumped upwards. The food was swallowed downwards, and she almost choked, almost teary. Yuxiu thought to herself, "Finally, I stay." At this time, Yumi's rice bowl bottomed out. Yuxiu panicked and stood up, grabbed to add rice to Yumi. Yumi put down the bowl, put down the chopsticks, and said, "Full." Then stay. Although Yuxiu didn't take her eldest sister seriously in this matter, after all, Yumi still had high hopes for Yuxiu and ignored her for now. The key point is that Yuxiu and Guo Qiaoqiao are very warm, which Yumi cannot accept. Guo Qiaoqiao, this silly girl, is difficult to handle. Yumi knows well that she is afraid of her. Yumi has never been afraid of anyone, and now it seems that she has fallen into her hands. Guo Qiaoqiao is not the scheming type, or the type who does mischief secretly. Guo Qiaoqiao is not. This girl has a savage and violent temperament boy in her. She dares to say everything openly and dares to do everything openly. This is something that Yumi cannot bear. For example, when Yumi just got married, Guo Qiaoqiao had finished school in front of so many people in the government compound. To show her kindness as a stepmother, Yumi immediately went up to meet her, picked up her school bag, and said with a smile, "Qiaoqiao, school is over?" Guo Qiaoqiao said naively, "Dumbass." In front of so many common cadres, she was so rude. Yumi was completely disgraced. Yumi once told Guo Jiaxing about this on the pillow. Yumi said, "What's wrong with Qiaoqiao? Why is she like seeing a ghost as soon as she sees me?" Guo Jiaxing was not interested in this question and said casually, "She is still a child." "Child? How much older am I than her?" But Yumi dared not to say this. She just said it to herself in her stomach. Thinking about this, Yumi felt very sad. She was not much older than Guo Qiaoqiao, and she was so heartless all day long. But she had to beg to be her stepmother for nothing, and she lost all her faith but got no respect. Yumi can see it. Parents are like this. Once their original spouse dies, they will feel sorry for their children, who will become more and more pampered and indulgent. Yumi lay next to Guo Jiaxing, feeling cold and filled with resentment. After thinking about it, men still can be trusted. Lying on your body while he's happy, 2 pounds of meat can be converted into 4 pounds of oil. When he gets down, 4 pounds of oil can be mixed with over 3 pounds of water. That is not the case at all. Men clearly know who they are close to and who they are distant from. Man, before pulling it out, is one person, and after pulling it out, is another one. This is very chilling. Yumi has always wanted to have a good chat with Guo Qiaoqiao and make things clear to her. Yumi does not expect Qiaoqiao to call her mom. Yumi has such self-awareness and cannot afford it. Isn't it okay to call her auntie? If she really doesn't want to, she can call her sister. To take steps back, it's always appropriate to call her Yumi. Guo Qiaoqiao doesn't even fart. Being in the same room every day, they don't say a word even when breaking their lips. Carrying the title of mother and daughter, but having black eyes, what does this mean? Guo Qiaoqiao just doesn't give Yumi a chance, unless Yumi asks for a scold. Guo Qiaoqiao's mouth is a standard mother's mouth without a mother's education. It pops anything, including all sorts of evil things. Where did she learn it? Yumi is afraid of her. Yumi sometimes thinks that if her filial piety towards her daughter is fed a broom, it should hum. Yumi sighed deeply and thought, being a stepwife is easy, but being a stepmother is difficult.